Hey gang, this is Alan with ClemHillAdventures. Wanted to go over some stuff on the air conditioner, on how the airflow is set up on this one. I've already pulled the screws off of my little flashing here, so we can just pull it off pretty quickly, but I wanted y'all to see how it's set up. I've got that aluminum up there for condensation because there's obviously cold air coming out of here. Didn't want to have anything porous right on the wall where it'd collect mold or anything like that. And then there's the foam board behind it just for the seal on the back side. Okay, so you can see the opening there. On the back of the unit, or actually on the top and sides, you can see it's got the holes, the vents on the sides. The vents on the sides are actually the intake to be able to pull cool air across and disperse it through the condenser coil and remove the heat from the condenser coil. So that's your intake. Won't really be able to see this too much from the outside, but I'm fixing to walk around outside and show you how the outside is set up. But that foam board right there actually seals the back of the unit all the way around to where you can't get any of the hot air coming off of the coil back into the intake side of it. So let's walk around outside and take a look. Alright, so I've already taken the screws out of the cover. Just wanted y'all to see how the cover was set up. It usually would be attached all the way around, and I've got a screen that goes on the bottom side of it. Okay, so you see how I just cut the hole on the outside and just folded the metal up so I could put this divider in there. But that is the back side of the air conditioner, the condenser coil. Basically it's sealed up on the top, on the side, and on the bottom with foam board. So that is my divider. So when the hood is actually on, you can see how it would be pulled tight to this divider on the side. And this is my intake side, which you can see from the inside. So the cool air will come in through here, and remember it's all divided and it's actually got the opening right here. The cool air will come in through there, pull in through the system, and as it pulls through, and then it exhausts out of this side. So this side right here is your exhaust side. So you always have your hot air coming off of this side. And this is just the drain for the unit. So that's how I've got it divided on the back side, to where you don't have the hot air coming off of the condenser circulating back through the condenser again. If you have it all just set up to one hole, it will still work. I'm not saying it won't. It will still work, but it's nowhere near as efficient as it could be. As long as you've got the opening is the same, you are literally taking the hot air that is coming off the coil and pulling it back around and pushing that hot air on the coil again. So you usually end up with much hotter air coming across that unit than you need to have. Just messes the efficiency up on it, and takes a little longer for everything to work properly and get the heat removed from the inside of the space. So let's walk back around inside and take a look. So everything on an air conditioner is airflow. So you have air flowing into your intake, distributing out of the exhaust. The air coming into this is actually the heated air in the space. The evaporator takes the heated air, removes the heat from this point, disperses it out to the condenser side, and the heat is exhausted outside through the condenser. Everything on the outside is the same way. You're wanting to pull as cool air in as possible to exhaust the heat off of the condenser, because that's what you're doing. You're removing heat from the inside of the space and you're dispersing it to outside. So that is how the air conditioner works. They're all pretty much the same. Even your household unit works the same way as a window unit. It's just doing it through a long refrigerant line set and takes it from inside and disperses it outside. Takes the heat from inside and disperses it outside. So all air conditioners pretty much work that way. The only differences on them usually are controls or safety switches, stuff like that. So that's how an air conditioner works. On the air conditioner, if you had a window unit with heat in it, it will work the same way and it'll work fine in that space. You don't have to do anything differently just if it does have heat. The heat is usually either going to be coil strips in it, or it's going to be a heat pump, which is basically just reversing the flow of the refrigerant and doing the opposite of what you're doing. You're removing the heat from outside and bringing it inside. I am going to start working on getting that sink in here in the kitchen. And I've got some cleanup work to do on a lot of the stuff we did, because everything was kind of thrown together quickly because we were running out of time for our vacation. So I just kind of threw everything together as quickly as I could to get it working. So we're going to get all that other stuff taken care of, clean up some of the wiring, the plumbing, stuff like that, get it to where it looks nice as well as works correctly. We've got our water heater situation. We're fixing to try something with one of the little portable heaters that I could mount outside with some transfer valves and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon. Also finishing up trim work, obviously, because as you can see, the trim work in here is a little rough. Also, we're going to do a drawer slash steps going right there in that corner to get up into the bed. Height of the bed is a little over 3 feet off the floor, so it's a little rough to get in and out of sometimes without sliding all the covers off. But yeah, that's we're fixing to get onto that. Trimming the windows, trim on the back side around the door, because that was our one spot that was a little rough on the vacation, because I don't really have a place to put insulation back here because of the workings of the back door, and that actually is a solid piece of metal right there all the way across. So what I'm going to end up doing is trimming out around the edges and trimming out around that to where we can actually get in there and get a little insulation. I've just got to have enough space to where I'm not interfering with the workings of the doors and the wheels and the springs and everything. So we'll be doing that soon. But yeah, we have some other stuff we're going to do. Still trying to decide if we want to do a refrigerator there or if we're happy with that one, the little igloo cooler, which does work great. I'm sorry, it's a Coleman, not an igloo, which it does work great. We haven't had any problems with it. It just uses a little bit more power than we like, but a lot of that I think is the same as everything else. We've got very little battery storage. We need to get that taken care of, get some more batteries. One thing about these air conditioners, you really don't want to run them on batteries, just because they do eat up so much, you'll end up losing a lot. So it's really something you have to have shore power in order to run. I mean, I've heard people that are running them off of batteries, but I can't imagine they're getting a whole lot of performance out of it. I think with a little bit we got, I might be able to get this thing run for about 30 minutes. But usually when we're out and about, the Fantastic Fan does everything we need with the windows open. So usually that's kind of how we go about it. But yeah, we are going to be doing some stuff with heat. We're insulated pretty well, and we were out and it was pretty cold. We didn't really have a whole lot of problems with not having heat. Like I said, the lower refrigerator actually puts off a little bit of heat, so it actually kept the trailer pretty warm. But we do have these couple little heaters we're going to try and see how much power they use and along those lines, and see what else we have to do, because I know we're going to have to get more power in the trailer. So, okay guys, something I forgot to mention is pretty important. This right here is a flashing that I have up under the entire unit to divert water. These units hold water in the bottom of the frame casing right there, which is a pan, and a little bit of splashing you get around, you may get water that will splash up. I basically just took a small piece of metal and bent it to where it had a lip on it, and it is actually flowing to the outside, and you see it's folded over the edge. You see it's got the fold on that edge too, and basically just diverts the water to the outside if anything splashes up out of the pan. But that's about it for now. If y'all have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll get back with them as soon as I can. Thanks.